Hello, I'm Matthew, and today we're going to be learning all about DMX lighting inside of Unreal Engine 5.6. By the end of this short tutorial, you'll be able to install the DMX plugins, create and configure a DMX library, add DMX fixtures to your project and control those fixtures with the built-in control console. And as a bonus, at the end, I'll show you how to control the lights inside of the DMX template that's included in the new project browser. This session is designed to give you a hands-on, step-by-step walkthrough so that you can develop the skills to begin building your own DMX lighting setups inside of Unreal. So let's get started. So we're going to start here in the new project browser, and I'm in the Film, Video, and Live Events tab, and we're going to start with a blank project. So go ahead and figure out where you're going to save it, and then give it a name. We're going to call it DMX Tutorial, and we're going to let that load up. All right, so here we are in a blank project, and we're going to do a little housekeeping. As you can see, there's a bunch of lights already included in this empty project. We're not going to use them. I want to start completely from scratch. So over here, I'm just going to select these lights, and we're going to go ahead and delete them. So we're here in the top level content folder. Right-click in the content browser and select New Folder. Let's title this first one DMX. Go ahead and right-click again and then make another folder, and we're going to say Fixtures. One more time, we'll call this one Sequences. And we'll do one last folder, we'll call this Maps. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this map and I'm going to move it into the Maps folder, and it's going to ask us what do we want to do, move or copy it. We'll just click Move here. Scary window will come up, just go ahead and click OK. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we're going to load some plugins. So go up here to the Edit menu, drop down and choose Plugins. Now you can scan this list, but the easiest thing to do is just type DMX in here and it'll bring up the DMX plugins we need. The first one we're going to use is Control Console, and then we'll need the DMX engine, followed by DMX fixtures, and DMX protocol should already be enabled. Go ahead and hit restart. All right, so our plugins are loaded. I like to be very efficient when I work, and one of the things I love is the favorites folder, and you can access that over here in this little drop down. And what the favorites folder does is it allows you to favorite any other folder and it'll populate in there, so you don't have to navigate through a long hierarchy. The way you add a folder is you can right click on any folder and click Add to Favorites, and you'll see this folder Fixtures is now over here. All right. Okay, so we enabled the DMX fixtures in the plugins, but where are they? You can come over here into the engine content under the plugins folder, and if you don't see anything here, come over here to this settings cogwheel and click it, and you want to make sure that show engine content and show plugin content are enabled. And then you should be able to see a whole bunch of folders here. Again, the easiest thing to do here is to type in DMX in this search bar. All right, so what we're looking for is the DMX fixtures folder, which is here, and then inside of that you'll see a bunch of different folders. We want to find the DMX lighting fixtures folder. And you can see there's a bunch of blueprints here of different types of DMX lighting. One thing to keep in mind, it's very important, is that you don't want to use these blueprints in your own project because it is engine content. What you want to do is make a duplicate. So to do that, right click, come up here to Create Child Blueprint Class. You can go ahead and give it a name. I'm just going to hit Enter. And let's go ahead and do this again for the static light. Remember, right click, come up here to Create Child Blueprint Class. You can go ahead and give it a name. All right, so let's move these copies that we made into our fixtures folder. And as you can probably see, this is where our favorites folder is going to come into handy. So instead of navigating some long hierarchy, all you have to do is grab the file and drag it over and drop it on top of the folder, and it'll say Move Here, and there you go. Go ahead and grab the second one, Move Here. All right, let's go ahead and add one more. Let's add a laser this time. You can use the breadcrumb here to just jump up a level by clicking here. Go into the folder that says lasers, and we're going to create a copy of this. So right click, Create Child Blueprint Class. Go ahead and hit Enter, and we'll drag it over into our favorites and Move Here. Let's go ahead and build out a quick scene. What's cool is that included are some stage elements in the stage elements folder here. Let's go ahead and grab a piece of trussing. Let's go ahead and just drag this out onto our scene. Let's go ahead and click on our fixtures folder, and there you can see the 3 copies we made. Remember to save often and save all. Okay, because this scene is so dark, why don't we work in unlit mode. So to do that, come up here where it says lit, and you drop that down, and you want to select unlit. And this will allow us to see better. I like to zero everything out in the center so that I can, kind of always find my way back. To center the trussing, come over to the details panel where there's a little arrow right next to location, and you click that, it'll zero out everything. All right, so to rotate it, go ahead and press the E key, and then you can rotate it around here 90 degrees. And one thing that's new in 5.6 is that the Z axis is going up and down now. This takes a little bit to get used to, but I'm glad that they finally made that change. All right, let's just move this here. All right, let's go ahead and add a floor so we can see what we're doing. To do that, let's just add a quick plane. I'm going to come up here and go into Shapes and select Plane. Let's go ahead and zero that out as well. And I'm going to lock the scale so we can change all the axes together. I'm just going to type in 10. That looks good. Okay, we'll make sure that that's zeroed out. All right, let's just move the camera a little bit so we can see what we're doing a little bit better. Like right there. Okay, that looks good. I'm going to duplicate this real quick by holding down Command and then moving along the Z axis to make a copy. Let's rotate this into place, and then W to move. Just move it over here. If you can't get it to move because there's, it's just snapping too much, you can come up here and you can change the snapping level, and then you can move it right into place. Okay, great. Now, one of the things I like to do, because you may bump the keyboard and move the mouse, and now you're all over the place. I like to use bookmarks for set camera positions. The way you do this is you come up here to where it says perspective, drop down this menu, and you want to go to bookmarks, and then we're going to go to set bookmarks. And in this case, I'm going to pick 1. Okay, and now what'll happen is if we go ahead and move this, let's just move it over here. If I just hit the 1 on the keyboard, it'll snap us right back into place. All right, let's do that again. Let's push in here for a closer shot. And I'm going to come up here to open up this menu under perspectives and bookmarks and set bookmark. And this time I'm going to pick 2. All right, now I can hit 1 or 2, and I can jump back and forth between these positions. Pretty great trick. Okay, so let's go ahead and move some of these lights out. We'll go ahead and move the static head, and then we'll bring the moving light, and then we're going to go ahead and bring the laser. I'm just going to very quickly put these in position. Let's drag this up here. See, this is where 2 helps me just to jump in quickly. I'll rotate it around. Okay, I'm going to move it up here. I'm going to have to adjust my camera angle over this side because I can't see how far back I am. But again, just go ahead and hit that key. And okay. All right, let's just nudge it into place there. Let's go ahead and hit that key and to jump all the way out. Let's go ahead and place this moving light. Bring it up on the Z axis. We'll rotate it. Slide it up and over here. This is actually my favorite part of working in Unreal. It's just placing all these design elements and building things. I could just spend hours doing that. Let's go ahead and move this. You know what? Let's make this a truss warmer. We're going to put this down here in the bottom of the truss, so when it comes on, it lights up the beams of the truss. Yeah, let's center it up. Okay, I like that here. Okay. All right. You know what? We need a second moving light. Let's make a third position here. Let's come up here, drop this menu down, and go to bookmarks, set bookmarks, and this one's going to be our third one. So the 3 key. All right. So 1, 2, and 3. Okay. All right. So let me just position this better here. It's hard if you don't go into the other angle to make sure that it looks like it's right from the front, but it's not. Okay, let's go ahead and put that. Now I want to make a copy of this. So again, okay, I'm going to rotate this in place. I'm going to make a copy. So let's go ahead and drag out a second copy. So we've got another instance of it. You can see over there in the outliner that it's created a copy there. Okay, so let's go back to lit mode, and you can see we can't see anything. So I want to drag out a point light. So you come over here, go down to lights, and we'll just drag out a point light. And we'll just position this here. Let me see if I can make this a little bit cleaner. Just drag this around. think I'm gonna have to make the radius bigger. Come over here and make the radius bigger. Okay, let's move it up and out of the frame. All right, let me just cycle through my camera positions. And okay, we're ready. We have our basic scene. Now, next thing you're gonna do is we're gonna create a DMX library. To do that, you wanna go back into the content browser, into the DMX folder, and open that up. And we're gonna right click and we're gonna go DMX and we're gonna say DMX library. Go ahead and give it a name. I'm just gonna call it DMX lib for library. And there you have it. Let's go ahead and double click that and open it up. All right, so what you can see here are 3 tabs that we're gonna move through very quickly. Let's save it real quick. All right, the first thing we're gonna do is the settings. Go ahead and click on this. This is gonna bring you the same settings folder. If you went to edit settings, it's gonna bring you to the same place, just specifically for the DMX portion of this. So I'm just gonna very quickly go through here. Let's create an input. If you come over here and you create an array, click the plus button. I'm going to call this input A. We want to pick ArtNet. You can pick SCAN, which stands for streaming ACN, but we're going to pick ArtNet. This wants our IP address. We're just going to go ahead and have it look for our default IP address by typing in 0.0.0.0, 4 zeros. Okay, we want to start our universes on universe 1, and we're going to give it 10 universes total. We won't use all of those today. And then for output, we're going to rename this output A. Same thing, ArtNet, and we want to make sure it's on broadcast. You could have broadcast or unicast. We want to make sure it's on broadcast. Again, with the IP address, so it'll find your address. Just type 0.0.0.1 and make sure everything else is the same as it is here. Okay, and let's go ahead and close it. All right, now. Okay, so now we switch from the library settings tab to the fixture types tab. Okay, and the way that these 3 windows work is that the details are down below, down here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a new fixture. Let's create a static head. All right, so if you go to DMX category, you can open this up and you can see different types of DMX fixtures. We're going to select the static head. We're going to change the name here to static head. Let's just say static. If you have a GDTF source file, you can plug it in right here. All right, now the next thing we do is we'll go over to the next column and we're going to choose add mode. Every light has a different type of mode. We're just going to leave this on mode, but you could change it here if your light had different modes. Then we'll come over here to add function. You can drop this down and see all the functions that are available, but for right now we're going to pick red. And then we'll come down here and change the name to match, the label to match to red. And we'll do a second one. We'll call it green. Change the name to green. And let's do, you guessed it, blue. And then blue. And the next one will be dimmer. There we go. Change the name to dimmer. And then we'll do one final one, and we'll call this one shutter. Okay, and then change it here to shutter. And you can see we're changing all these label names correctly. All right, we created some functions. Let's go ahead and save it. Click here to save. And let's create another one, right? All right, let's go up here to this green button, create a new fixture type. Let's call this one moving head. All right, and change the name to moving head. Okay, so the mode we're going to click, we'll call this one, we'll just change it, we'll call this one standard. And let's add a bunch of functions. So let's add the first function, and we're going to call this one color. And the next one we're going to look for is shutter. Okay, change the name to shutter. Okay, and with shutter, let's change some of the default values. You can do it here, down here in the detailed section. So we're going to change the default value to 105. Okay, I'll show you why that is later. Let's add another function. We'll call this one dimmer. One more. If you see these little triangles, it means that there's a warning. It means that you have 2 of the same functions. This will go away once we change this to Gobo, but I just wanted to point it out in case it happens to you. Change the name here to Gobo. Okay, next one will be frost. I can never find this one. There it is, frost. And we'll change the name to frost. And focus. So far, all these have all been 8-bit channels. We're going to now add pan, which will be a 16-bit channel. And we'll go put 16 bits here. Change that to pan. 16-bit just means it's using 2 8-bit channels. That's all that it means. You'll see it skip a number here. And let's add the tilt channel. That'll also be 16-bit. For tilt, 16-bit. Change the name. You know what? We also have to change the default value here. Same thing. 32767. Okay, and the last one here is zoom. I'll change the name to zoom. Great, now we have these 2 lights done. Now let's go ahead and add the laser. All right, so go ahead and click the new fixture type button. And when you come here to DMX category, you'll see that there isn't one for laser. So we're going to pick other. Change that name to laser. And then we're just going to add a mode. Just leave it as mode. Okay, let's go ahead and add some functions. We'll add 3 functions. The first one's going to be a start and stop. It's called mode start and stop. It's all the way at the bottom. Yeah, there it is. Okay, mode start and stop. And we'll just title this start stop. Okay. And next one is beam angle. And the last one is number of beams. All the way down, number of beams. Okay, number of beams. Okay, great. Now we've created fixtures for all of our lights. Let's go ahead and save. Save all. And the next thing we'll do is patching. Okay, now we're going to switch to the fixture patch tab over here. This gives us 2 columns. On the left side here is where we put our fixtures, and on the right side here, this is a whole DMX universe, right? Starting at channel 1 and going to 512. And each, right above it is each value of that particular channel. Over here, we're going to add a fixture. And if you drop this down here, you'll see our lights that we just created. And let's go ahead and pick the static head. Right here, it'll show you the DMX channel information. And to see how many channels we have, let's just jump back in the previous tab. We'll look at our static light and we'll see how many channels we have. All right, so we have 4 channels here. If we go back now and we add a new fixture and we pick our static light, we can now say we know that we're going to create 5 channels. So if you look here, the first number is the universe number followed by the start DMX number here. So it's 1 of 1. So we're just going to say OK. And you can see here, here's the fixture. Here's all the DMX information. It starts at universe 1 and it takes up the first 5 channels. Let's go ahead and add the moving light. Okay, we have increment patching checked. So what's going to happen is it's just going to add it here right after. It's going to add it to channel 6 and we don't want that. So we're going to manually change that. What we're going to do here is we're going to type in 1.33. And so now when we click add, it's going to add it here at channel 33. Okay. And let's go ahead and do our laser now. Let's pick our laser from the drop down and the same thing here. We don't want it to start at 44. We want to start at 66. So we'll type 1.66 and we'll hit the green button and voila, it now has patched us at starting at channel 66. Okay, so let's go back to our little scene here. And now the question is, how do we connect them now? We have these fixtures, these blueprints, these fixtures here, and we have the fixture patches we just created. How do we hook them together? So if you select the static light, you can see it here in the outliner. We go down to the details, you'll see this DMX library section. And what you want to do is open this up and pick the DMX library that we created. You could also drag it across. And then you want to patch the tool by selecting here and picking static. We're going to do the same thing for a moving head. We're going to come down to the DMX section and connect it to the DMX library. And then we're going to patch it to the moving head we just created. Now let's do the laser. And you'll see Oh, we don't have one for the second light. Okay. So if we selected this one, it means that every light with the same patch would function the same. We don't want that. We want to have the lights be able to move individually. So what we need to do is we need to go back and create a new fixture and a new patch. All right, so what we're going to do is go back into the DMX library, by coming over here and double clicking, and now we're going to add another fixture patch simply by coming up here and creating a new fixture patch and then selecting moving head. And this time we're going to figure out where we want to place it. We're going to set it at the next channel number. If you look over here, that happens to be 44, right? So we're going to put it right here. So we'll click 1.44 and it's going to append it right to the end. And now we have the two moving lights in succession there. We're going to save. Let's go back to our little scene, and now you can see that we can now match it to the correct patch. All right, let's do the laser. Come here, now you see there is no DMX section for the laser, so we have to go into the components and select DMX here, and now we can add the DMX library, and we can add the patch. Okay, so now everything's patched. Let's go ahead and save all. And now, how do we control it? Now, what's awesome is that if you come up here, this new little DMX window has appeared since we loaded the plugin, and it has all of these tools in here. So let's first add the DMX control monitor. This allows us to look at all the DMX channels in a universe and what they do. I'm going to go ahead and dock it down here by grabbing the tab and moving it down here. The second thing we want is the DMX control console. And when this is going to launch full screen, and it just puts a tab up here next to our scene, what we want to do is we want to connect it to our DMX library. There it is. And what you can see, it says pre-populated all of the fixtures that we already have. And if we go ahead and click on one, what happens is it brings up faders. And these are how we control it. And let's pick another one. Here's all the functions of each one of the lights. And if you see the blue, what that means is that those are the pre-populated values that we put in earlier. You can select more than one, obviously. And you can view them horizontally or vertically, however you want to have your layout. Let's go ahead and rearrange this so we can see it better. Drag this down over here and then switch to our main tab. And I'm just going to put it over here. I'm going to just resize it so we can take a look at it, just so we can see it better. We're going to select our static light so that you can see the functions here. And then we need to simulate. So if you go to these three dots and click simulate, and then you come here and there's a play button. So you want to play DMX. You want to make sure it's sending out. And now we can drag these values up. Let's do the shutter. And if you see over here, like as I drag the red up and down, you can see that it's changing the DMX values over on the right left-hand side. And then when we click the dimmer value, we have light. So that's how you control it. You have to make sure that you have simulate mode and that you also are sending out DMX. And then that's why I use this DMX control monitor, so I can see exactly what channels are being affected. And you can change the color, you can do whatever you want. So let's play around with, let's just try the moving head now, okay? So now there's a lot more parameters. I'm gonna do both of the lights together. I'm gonna shift select these two, so now I'm bringing those values up at the same time. So let me open this up here, and all right, so let's bring both of their shutter values up, and then let's adjust some of their dimmer values. And you can see the lights are coming on, but they're positioned in the wrong space. So this is where our 2 key, remember we had our 2 key to jump forward, our bookmark. It helps us jump in here. We can go ahead and grab the pan and tilt, and we can maneuver it into the right position so we can actually take a look at it. So let me move the other head down, and let me just back up a little bit so you can see it. And what we need to do now is we're going to just focus those beams so that they're not so wide. So we'll zoom in. Let me select both of them. Zoom in. There you go. It's pretty cool how you have control over all this. And let's take a look at the gobos. Let's here's some of the different gobos that they have. So select both of them, shift select, and now we can step through. What's doing is it's changing each channel number and then moving the gobo to the next gobo. We can change the color if we want. We'll put this one over here in this like pink color, and we'll do this other one. I think I like this green. There we go. So we're creating a scene. We've got a truss warmer, and we've got 2 moving lights. We'll just jump out there by hitting 1, and now let's work on the laser. All right, so we select the laser. I selected it in the scene, and you don't need to select it in the scene. Let's go ahead and turn it on. And the angle and number of beams work together. So you have to turn on one to turn the other on. You can see the number of beams changing, and now I'm adjusting the angle. Yeah, it's just pretty cool to play with. So there we go. We have a little scene now. And I've adjusted all these parameters. Let's just zoom in here and you can take a look at it. And there we go. That's how you control the DMX lights with the DMX control console. Let's just try to make something a little prettier here. Just going to move this other light to kind of match it. There we go. Okay, let me press 1 to jump out. Okay, so that's how you control the lights using the DMX control console. So next, what I'm going to do, as I promised, I'm going to show you a bonus of how we can control the DMX template that comes with Unreal that has a bunch of lights already set up. So let's jump into that now. So I'm back here in the New Projects browser in the Film and Video Live Events tab. I'm going to select the DMX template here. You can read all about it if you want. And we're just going to pick a location, and we're going to call this DMX template. There we go. And click OK, and we're going to let that load up. All right, I'm just going to pull back a little bit so we can see the whole scene. So this pretty much is like what we just built. It's some trussing and some lights. It's just a much bigger version of what we created. So if you want to see what this does, go up here and press play, and it'll just run through this little demo it has. It's a sequence built upon the lights, and it'll just show you, what each light does. It's a pretty cool little demo. I suggest you check it out. And what's cool is if you come over here into the outliner and you drop this down, here are all the lights that have been already configured for you, just the same way we configured all those lights. The moving lights, the static heads, they're all here, exactly the same. Just more of them, but you know how to create them this way. So when I click the static light, there's the warmer, just like that. Let's click a moving head. There's one moving head, just the same way we just did it. Where's the laser? There we go. And there's our laser. Okay. Also, the folder structure's pretty much the same. You already know that. And if you come over here and you open up the DMX folder, there are all of the DMX libraries, and there's a DMX library for each of the different maps. There are 3 different maps. There's a cool one for the lights. There's one for fountains. There's one for pixel mapping. It's pretty cool if you want to go in here and try it. I really like this fountain one. It's just really cool. But we're going to go back to the fixtures map, and then we're going to go into the DMX folder, and we're going to look at the fixtures DMX library. So it's right here. I'll go ahead and double click it. And this should look very familiar. I'm just going to dock it up here. Here, it's much bigger than the one we built, but it's exactly the same. Here are the universes. You can scroll through the universes. If you click on a light, it'll show you exactly where it lands in the DMX channels. Click on the DMX channels. It'll show you exactly where it is in the list of fixtures. So this is just the big version of what we just built. All right, if we go into fixture types, you can see there's other different kinds of fixtures. Here's a LED wash light, and you can see how it's configured. Okay, you can also play around with the sequence. So this is the sequence of the lights, but you need to turn off the autoplay, otherwise it's going to drive you crazy. So open up the details panel, come down here, and then you can come over here into the sequence, and you can drag the playhead around, and you can step through it. You can see what lights do what, how they keyframed it. You can go, let's pick one light. Let's pick a moving headlight. You can see it over here in the outliner. And then if we go down into the sequencer, you can see here's that moving light right here. Here's that head. And right here. And all the parameters that are keyframed. You can see it as you step through it. Let's go ahead and open the DMX tools menu and get the control panel back out again. We already know how to do this. We select the DMX library. We'll select that moving head, and here are the functions. Again, we'll drag it out here so we can see it. We'll go back to the map. I'm going to dock it up here this time, just so we can see all the functions. I'll slide it out. We're already in simulation mode because we were playing the sequence. So let's go ahead and play the DMX here. And now we have access to these sliders, and we can bring up the dimmer. We can zoom the light, pan and tilt it, move it around if we want to, change the gobo just like we did before. Except for now we're in the DMX template. Let's change the color. Let's go ahead and grab a different light, and we'll focus it. We'll cross it here. Let's go the other way. Let's change the color. change the gobo, and this is how you can now control the lights inside of the DMX template. And there you go. Congratulations. You now have a better understanding of how to work with DMX lights inside of Unreal Engine. It was a lot today, I know, but now you know how to install the DMX plugins. You know how to create and configure a DMX library, where to find the DMX fixtures, how to add them to your project, how to configure them, how to control them using the control console, and to view the channels with the DMX control monitor. So you now have the skills to explore the other fixtures in the DMX template, as well as work with DMX in your own projects. Anyway, again, I'm Matthew, and thank you for your time today. Have fun exploring DMX in Unreal Engine 5.6.